Hello, do you like wind turbines? Well, if you're in the UK or the US, there's a good chance that you might not. And you may agree with Landman Billy Bob Thornton's statement. He said in Landman that in 20 years of operating a wind turbine, that it won't offset the carbon it took to make it. I'm not showing the clip because I'm a bit concerned of copyright, but I'll say that statement again. He said, in the 20 years of operating the wind turbine, it won't offset the carbon it took to make it. The only trouble is it's not true. In fact, it's a very big lie. But Landman is a fictional show, but sometimes people have trouble distinguishing between fact and fiction. The clip also went viral on TikTok, and a lot of people like to repeat it. Hello folks, my name's Nigel. Hope you can like and subscribe, and please leave a comment below. Landman stars Billy Bob, whose job is to find land for drilling oil. It takes well under 6 months for the average wind turbine to offset its carbon emissions, including its production, power and recycling. Wind turbines spend the majority of their lives, over 98%, producing carbon-free energy. In the UK, you can go on the National Grid Live website and see exactly how much wind energy is being generated at one time. And that's not forgetting all the millions of people with solar panels charging their own homes and cars, and that's not included in the National Grid figures. Now, 1.25 million people in the UK have solar panels, and it contributes 5% of the UK's electricity needs. In 2020, less than 1 million people had solar panels, and it's growing at a huge rate. Majority of people use solar for their own use, and you don't see their figures on the national grid until they have a surplus, and that's when you see them. So it's not really a true solar representative figure of what is actually being used in the UK. Until very recently, there was a ban on land-based wind turbines, with only wind turbines on the ocean being allowed. But now that ban in the UK has been lifted, and I think Trump is thinking of doing the opposite in the States, as is what you would expect. Many people in the UK hate wind turbines.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
And some get upset when I say that I think they are quite beautiful and majestic, and they create a lot of clean energy. Scotland is not quite self-sufficient in wind, but it's almost there. It actually generates its total needs, but with wind there are highs and lows, and a certain amount is captured in storage. So at times it does have to import some non-renewable electricity, but considering where it was 20 years ago, it's quite remarkable, and it's only a question of time before it reaches 100% and a lot more. It has a huge potential for wind power, both onshore and offshore, and the wind power is the fastest growing renewable energy technology. In 2023, Scotland set a target of 11 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2030, and the sector is expected to support over 33,000 jobs by 2030. Scotland has a strong offshore wind supply chain, and the Scottish Government has committed to investing in offshore infrastructure. People often tell me it takes more oil to run a wind turbine than the energy it produces, which is nonsense and another big lie. But fortunately, there are some very good people on the internet calling out lies, and Rolly Williams from Climate Town on his YouTube channel is very funny and entertaining, and I thoroughly recommend you subscribe to his channel. He calls out the industries that tell you that natural gas is clean and wind turbines are dirty. Even Trump got in the act recently when he says that wind turbines are noisy and they kill birds. And this is a lie, and it's been repeated many, many times before. Many reports and studies have found in the US, UK, Europe, Canada and France that cats, buildings and cars kill many more birds than wind turbines ever do. For decades before the offshore wind turbines, we had the oil platforms, but no one from the oil industry was then concerned of the danger they posed to whales. But as soon as the offshore wind turbines come along, then the whales were in danger. And of course, it's just not true. And of course, it's true that 100 years of civilization has been built on oil, and nobody's denying that. And oil is getting harder and harder to find, and fracking is becoming much more common way of obtaining oil, and it's using up a lot more of our resources. We now have the technology 1,000 times more advanced than we had in the 1900s to capture the sun's energy, the wind's energy, wave energy, air, ground source energy. Oil will have built the first wind turbines decades ago, but as we now have more and more turbines creating more and more energy, less oil is being used and more cleaner renewable energy is being used in place of oil. Many people in the UK are convinced that their property will go down in price if there is a wind turbine on the horizon, but it's just not the case. I was on the planning committee in Cornwall 10 years ago when a lot of wind turbine applications were considered, and people claimed then that fewer people would come to Cornwall if the applications went ahead. And most of the applications did go ahead, and there's more people in Cornwall than there ever was 10 years ago. Some of those meetings were insane, with fire alarms mysteriously going off and some people coming close to blows, including councillors. But fortunately, Cornwall, like Scotland, has lots of wind turbines creating lots of clean energy. If you'd like to buy Jen and myself a coffee, that would be great. There is a link down below. Also, if you were thinking of buying a new Tesla, there's a link where you get £500 or $500 off. Certainly, I've had the Tesla for 3.5 years now. I would certainly buy it again. And I certainly didn't buy the Tesla because of Tesla's founder, very unfashionable at the moment. And it's obviously harming sales, the antics of Elon Musk. And I bought the car long before Elon Musk went crazy. The driving experience is wonderful, though it's expensive to buy in the first place. You save money if you can charge at home. Obviously, that's a big benefit. And even charging at the Tesla superchargers is way, way cheaper than gas or petrol or diesel. So there are sound economic reasons for buying the car and the sheer delight of driving it. And we've driven the car from Cornwall to Scotland about 5 times, took the ferries from Santander, from Southampton, driven all the way down to Spain, Portugal, and had a great time. It's very easy. Having a Tesla, it makes it so simple, and it shows me where the next charger is, whether I'm on the M5 or whether I'm down in the Algarve in Portugal, and thoroughly recommended. Second hand, also pretty good. You can now get them from £12,000, and that's something I would also recommend. Thank you very much for getting this far. Hope I haven't rambled too much. Hope you can subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Drive safely. Bye for now.